Today we're going to talk about imports. We are going to focus on the classification data import. This is your structure, attributes, and categories and how they were all mapped together. There is a very specific format that an Excel sheet needs to be in. That's going to look just like this. The Attributes tab, Categories, and Classification. So the attributes, these are all going to go in as new attributes. They do not exist in the system right now. We can go ahead and add their descriptions in now or update later. I need to tell it what data type it is. The length is simply the characters that it is going to allow. And the unit of measure is not mandatory, but it is helpful in some cases. The categories are this is going to tell DFR how you want your structure set up. For example, we're always going to start with the root. I want to create a folder called sample load and then have all of this stuff underneath it. So then we see sample load. Well, now I want electronics. Electronics subcategory will be boxes and enclosures and racks and so on. Again, we can put a category description here. The status will always go in as new. These are not completely necessary. You can set them up ahead of time. And then lastly, we have the full path, which is just copied back over. Lastly, it's a classification is where they are put all together. They are all connected. So for example, we'll see root, sample, load, electronics. These are all of the attributes that are going to be on that category, and then of course just information that we had on these other sheets. However, you can, but it's not mandatory, set up key attributes required if they're read only, and even display order. So once that is all set up, we'll have it saved, and then we'll click classification data, find our sample load file, and now I will say next. The format is Excel. We'll say next. So now I'm being asked what all are we importing, because DFR is going to look at the file on the back end and be able to determine if we have everything that we need. So I know that I'm not loading in allowed values, so I'm just going to uncheck that, but I am loading attribute data, I am loading import, and of course the category attribute data. Okay, so these are going to be our attribute mappings. Everything's brand new, so I'm going to go and change the operation to create. Everything else is auto-mapped based off of our spreadsheet. The same thing here, the category mappings are going to be in create since they were brand new. Next. And lastly, the category attribute mappings, which again will be create. And these are just some of those columns that we just talked about. So next. Now we're going to validate and make sure that all of our stuff is brand new, that it doesn't exist somewhere already, such as if there were already attributes that were in the system. Well, now we've told it to make new attributes, but it'll tell us if there's something repeated or if there's a duplicate. Okay, so the validation came back and everything looks fine. Now I will do next and then import. The import process can be very quick, and in other cases it can take longer with just the sheer amount of information that is going to be loaded in. So this says that it's done, and now I can go check. Whoops. I can go check and see that I have my sample load, electronics, and all of these. On DFR Online, you can also see all the attributes that are on there as well. So now check out our next video, which will be item data loading, for more information.